Hello, my name is Henry. I'm the VP of Marketing for Starship Technologies, and we offer autonomous delivery services. And I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you a bit about what we do, a bit about the company, a bit of background. So without further ado, I want to throw to a short video to give you a bit of a flavor around what we do.
The delivery robots are amazing.
I must have used the service 50, 60 times.
When I haven't got time to go out, if I'm working from home, it's great to have lunch.
I can order what I want, what I need, and actually just sit back and track my robot to my front door.
They can bring the delivery in a very short time.
Quite often I end up working from home. Sometimes you don't have the time to go out and get a pint of milk so that you can actually have a cup of tea while you're on your calls. I find Starship really great to be able to just fit in with my lifestyle. It means I can really focus in on doing my work.
My wife, amazingly, has donated a kidney so that I can receive a kidney. With both of us out of action and unable to drive, it's been brilliant just being able to pop onto the app, order the things you need, without having to trouble anybody else, without having to walk to the shop.
We trust that they always get here because there's never been a problem. Every time we've ordered something, it's always arrived promptly.
I had guests coming over from Birmingham. When I was putting everything together, I realised I'd forgotten the yogurt. Robots to the rescue, and the robots were here before the guests came.
If I do a big shop, half my food just goes to waste. So I just buy small amounts, and actually this allows me to do it.
Less cars, less pollution, it's green and it's good for the environment.
We are very proud of these robots. We've got videos and we show them around to people.
Thank you, Mr. Robot.
I don't have to take time off work, I don't have to go to the shops.
Just knowing that whatever you need is just a few clicks away on an app and it arrives outside your house, so why would anybody not use it?
It's turned into where it's becoming a necessity, an essential service for people, where it's now famous.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That was actually a video from one of our service areas in Milton Keynes. And since that video has actually been made, we are in multiple more cities and neighborhoods and also college campuses in the US, over 20 now. So I wanted to give that little bit of background about our service from a customer's perspective. But what I want to now do is talk a little bit about the details and the technicalities and the technology of what we do and how our robots work. And maybe to start with a little bit of background, this company, Starship, was founded more than 7 years ago now by the Skype co-founders. And they were looking to make delivery as seamless as possible. Delivery is a bit of a hassle still. We have to think, are we going to be in when that delivery arrives? Am I going to get a slip through the door that says I missed you? It's quite expensive. And our founders thought that autonomous delivery robots that travel on pavements at slow speeds can make life a little bit easier for everyone. So another issue with grocery delivery, package delivery, and other things like that is people don't necessarily like doing the shopping themselves. Groceries, for example, especially young families putting kids in the car, finding parking, having to traipse around the store. So people don't necessarily want to do that, and they want to save time. And another factor that is maybe less known from a customer's perspective is the cost, of course. Lots of hidden costs when it comes to last mile delivery. And over 50–60% of the total cost of transportation can sometimes be associated with those last couple of miles of delivery. So it's not just end customers, but businesses around the world are looking for solutions that are going to lower their last mile costs. Now, the world has obviously changed in the last couple of years. Lots of people have been pushed into using delivery services, especially those that may have been isolating or shielding. And this is where autonomous delivery really came into its own. Our demand 4x'd in the UK over COVID. More than 30% of people actually used grocery delivery for the first time ever during COVID. And lots of people then say, well, it's going to go back to normal, obviously, after COVID disappears. And of course, we all hope COVID does disappear very quickly. But we're not actually seeing those habits reverting back to pre-COVID. We're actually seeing a maintaining of that high demand. And we really do think that habits from end customers have therefore been changed forever. We've got more and more cars and vans on the road because of these increased deliveries. And even some city centres are banning vans because of the increase in pollution and congestion. And that's becoming a real problem for cities and suburbs. And this is where delivery by self-driving, zero emissions, autonomous robots can really, really help. So what are we actually trying to do here? We're trying to make life a bit easier for people. We're trying to save people time. We are very interested in eco-friendly delivery solutions and sustainability. We do want to remove cars and vans from doing unnecessary car journeys. We want to offer very, very low cost deliveries. And this is very difficult right now with traditional human on-demand delivery methods, which is notoriously expensive. And no need for pre-scheduling. We want very quick on-demand delivery in under 60 minutes. One thing that I think lots of people may think when they see our robots is they go, oh, well, that's great, but it's very small. It's not going to fit much in it. And I think that's a fair point. Our robots are not going to be delivering the pianos and the sofas anytime soon, but they are very well suited to a growing trend called top-up shopping. And this is where you order a few bags of groceries multiple times a week, rather than doing your massive weekly shop. And the reason for this growing trend, as well as just the convenience factor, is that growing weekly shop, that massive weekly shop that sometimes we do, is actually very inefficient. Up to 30% of that total shop can go to waste because you're overbuying. You're making use of these offers, buy one, get one free, that you don't necessarily need. Whilst if you just order what you need more regularly, but smaller basket sizes throughout the week, it's a much more sustainable way to shop. So a little bit of background around how does this work. I'm talking a little bit about the overview of the service, but let's talk about the details. Right now, Starship has an app. It's called Starship Food Delivery. And it looks a lot like some of the other apps out there, and you place items in your basket, you check out and you pay. But that's when things start to change. You see a little robot on the map, and you can track your robot on its way to you. And then when the robot arrives, you literally have to press on the app. I can see my robot, unlock the lid. And that button is only pressed in the app. It's not a code or anything like that. It's unique to you. Only you can open the robot, so no one else can. The lid is, of course, locked during a delivery. And then you can take your goods, close the lid, and as simple as that, the robot will then be sent off to its next delivery. So although it's incredibly technical how we do this and how the robots work, from an end customer's perspective, it's incredibly simple. So let's talk about the technology. The robot has 12 cameras, multiple sensors, including radar, time of flight cameras. We do limit the speed to around about 4 miles an hour on a pavement, and that's because that's the average walking speed, or it's actually quite a quick walking speed. The robots have actually been designed and built to be the same width as human shoulders, like a pedestrian. So they're not taking up too much space on the pavement. You know, these things are very, very important, which I'll also touch on from a social acceptance perspective. So the robot has a obstacle detection bubble. Imagine a bubble of awareness around the robot. So if anything comes into close contact with the robot, it can slow down, it can maneuver around the object, or if it's a narrow pavement, it can actually back up and get out of the way. It carries around about 2 or 3 shopping bags, going back to that top-up shopping mentality. Maybe if you want to do your weekly shop, maybe we can send a train of robots, but maybe that will come in the future. One really important thing from a technology perspective is these robots are 99% autonomous. And that means that they have a human that can take control or oversee a robot if necessary. So imagine people with screens in front of them waiting for robots to call for help if needed. And this is one of the reasons, this is why we're not looking for 100% autonomous driving. This is really important. This is what sets us apart from the self-driving car companies. Although our robots are traveling as many miles autonomously as lots of these autonomous driving companies, we are not seeking that 100%. And the reason why is we can be commercially operational now. These robots have been out doing millions of deliveries now for 3 years commercially. This is not a test. This is not an experiment. This is not a pilot project. There's over 1,000 robots right now, as I speak, doing deliveries around the world in 5 countries to real customers. And that's because of the 99% autonomous driving and having a human in the loop if necessary. The robots can climb curbs and things like that as well, but that's not a big problem for the robots. So a bit about that was some of the hardware. Let's talk a little bit about the software. We use computer vision, we use neural networks, we use machine learning to understand the world around the robot. And this is really what gives the robot its intelligence to be able to travel on a pavement safely. Of course, safety is incredibly important. Again, going back to self-driving cars, roads have rules. There are rules of the road. You do not drive on the wrong side of the road. You have to stop at a traffic light, and etc., etc. On the pavement, there are no rules. So it's actually quite a lawless environment, which is very difficult for robots to understand. And that's why it's a fantastic achievement to be able to blend naturally into sort of pedestrian behavior on pavements with robots. And that's what we're seeing on a daily basis. The radars can pick up cars over 100 meters away. When they're crossing the road, they need to understand what is safe and when it's safe to cross. The robots can tell the difference between a car traveling in front of it and a reflection of a car in a mirror and things like that. So all of this intelligence is growing on a daily basis in the robot as well to understand the environment around it. And I think this is really an important point that I want to touch on again, is that this is not a test. This is not a pilot. These are real world commercial operations. These don't have humans in the bushes kind of overseeing the robots or controlling them with remotes. 99% of the time, these robots are traveling autonomously. They're doing over 80,000 road crossings a day, and the majority of those are done autonomously as well. There is no other company actually doing so many autonomous road crossings. Doesn't matter about weather either, rain or shine, snow, we've seen everything. The robots have been tested in summer in Arizona and also winter in Tallinn, Estonia. So they really have had sort of different ends of the spectrum there. Touching on some of the metrics, 1.5 million deliveries, autonomous deliveries delivered, millions of miles. I think only Waymo, the self-driving car company, has done more miles last year, for example, autonomous miles than us. So we're the second biggest autonomous driving company in the world now. And this is with little robots on the pavements traveling at 4 miles an hour. Let's talk about real neighborhoods, real cities. How does it actually work? Well, we work with different partners like Co-op and Tesco, thousands and thousands of SKUs, thousands of orders completed with these partners. Some of the most popular items are the basics: milk, bread, bananas, eggs. And we do aim for an average delivery time of under 40 minutes. Sometimes it's a lot quicker than that. We saw a quadrupling of demand over the pandemic, which was sort of amazing to see. Lots of people getting in touch from different cities around the country asking if we can offer delivery services in this city or that city. And I am excited to announce that we are going to be launching in many more cities coming very soon, even this year. So all of those dots on the bottom right-hand side of that screen, you might be thinking, is that sort of a heat map or something like that? Those are actually those are the locations of everybody that's actually downloaded the app. And this shows the market adoption when you introduce delivery robots or Starship delivery robots into a new city. The adoption of the service is huge. Everybody wants to at least try that service. And then once they've tried that service once, they realize how much value it actually brings. and then they use us again. But you might also be thinking, what about regulation? Are these robots actually allowed on robots and things like that? On pavement, sorry, and things like that. And the answer is yes. We obviously seek permissions in everywhere we go. We work very closely with local authorities on a city level, a state level, a federal level. The robots are actually approved to be used in various different countries on a national level. In the UK, on multiple cities. And in the US, I think around about half of US states have actually legalized robots on sidewalks. So much more than, say, autonomous cars. This is where I think the technology like this is often overlooked, though, and it's around social acceptance. So it's very easy. Well, it's not easy to build a very fantastic, efficient technology, but actually what matters is that technology accepted into society, into the communities that you're actually operating in. And this is really important to Starship, that we build relationships with the local communities we're operating in. We make everybody feel comfortable with the technology. We talk to all sorts of local advocacy groups to make sure that everyone understands the technology and everyone understands the benefits. We set up these local online social groups to make sure everyone has the opportunity to share their thoughts, share their pictures and videos of the technology. And the robot has many functions, very many social functions, including audio. And we do manage to sometimes have some fun with this. And I might be able to play this video just quickly, which shows how excited someone is when they get their delivery.
Hello, here's your romantic delivery.
So again, it just I always love seeing things like that. It just shows the power of a smile as well, and how happy people can be when we have a bit of fun with these deliveries. And I think that may have been that gentleman's 30th or 40th grocery delivery, which with Starship, which is quite amazing. These are just some of the reactions I see. Again, we're talking about the social acceptance of robotics, the social acceptance of technology in society and human-robot interaction, which is so important when introducing these brand new technologies into cities and suburbs. Lots of people talking about robots to the rescue when you run out of milk. Thank you for my first delivery, received safely today. It was perfect with all that rain earlier. So lots and lots of pictures, lots and lots of videos. I think when the robots, over Father's Day, I think it was, the robots were telling dad jokes. So there's so much opportunity from a social engagement and perspective here with businesses and partners that we can really have some fun with those end customers. And these robots are social media famous. There's no two ways about that. If anybody looks on TikTok, there are millions and millions and millions of views of our robots all over the place. Lots of people helping robots as well in case maybe one gets stuck, which is also really interesting to see. Again, coming back to that social acceptance of robots, making sure that we engage communities, making sure that people feel comfortable with the technology. So when they do see robots out on the pavement next to them, they want to help them. And again, what happens when you introduce robots into a community? I take Milton Keynes. We started with Milton Keynes, so we could potentially also end with Milton Keynes. The robots have been there for over 3 years now, integrated into that community. This is not, again, something that's been only there for a couple of months. So we have some very interesting analysis and data to show what happens when you do introduce these robots into a society. And we're 3 years on now. And what we've found, the long and short of it, is that they have become part of the community. They've integrated into the community. And if we were to take them away, I think there'd be a really massive uproar from the community. Young families, busy young professionals, busy people in their working lives have absolutely embraced these robots because it makes their life a little bit easier. So I think that's a high level overview of our company, a little bit about the technology behind the company, a little bit of technology behind the robots and how they work, but also from an end customer's perspective, what that means for them and how does it look for them and why do they want to use it and what happens also when robots actually integrate into society. So I hope that's given a flavor of Starship Technologies, and I look forward to taking questions or talking more in the future. Thank you.